But now I want to cross to Albury in New South Wales to catch up with the new Deputy Liberal Leader, Sussan Ley. Thanks for joining us, Sussan, and congrats on this position. It's a great honour.
It's a pleasure, Chris, and to be joining you from Albury, where the Liberal Party was founded and a fantastic part of regional Australia.
Yeah, of course. It's where Robert Menzies first had that meeting to form the Liberal Party. And I was talking to Perrin Davey the other day, of course, as the Deputy Leader of the Nationals, and then the Nationals Leader in the Senate, Bridget McKenzie, is just across the creek there, just across the Murray in northern Victoria. So you've got a real concentration of coalition powerhouse women there.
We have indeed. Perrin's 2 hours down the road, which is, of course, in rural Australia, just down the road,
yes.
And Bridget just across the river, literally in the same twin cities of Albury-Wodonga. So we will all be a voice for regional Australia, and that's pretty exciting. We've got a good group of rural and regional Liberals inside the coalition, and of course we have the Nationals, and we have a huge agenda to follow, to deliver and to defend.
One of the great things about getting the job as a Liberal Deputy Leader is that by tradition, you get to choose your portfolio. Are you going to choose Treasury?
No, my skills are going to focus on other areas that cover rural and regional Australia, that particularly focus on women, and the detail of that is being worked out at the moment. So
sounds like you'd like to be Agriculture Minister, but maybe the Nats would want that.
It's funny, when I joined the party, Bill Heffernan said to me, you know, you really should be Agriculture Minister, but you never will be. So I've always remembered that advice, as well as other things Bill Heffernan taught me. I'm really looking forward to the women's role, so I will have that. And it will allow me to speak to women across the country and move, I hope, from what I see already in this Albanese government, from ideology to practicality. We have to be practical. We have to look for solutions. And I've always said, Chris, one of the underrated qualities of leadership is listening and really hearing what's said to you. So I can't wait. I mean, obviously, I'm talking to women all the time, particularly some of the women who didn't succeed at the last election. We had some amazing candidates, and I want to keep them all connected to the party and connected to what we want to do for the Australian people.
What are you going to do in practical terms, though, to turn this around? I think there's no doubt that women deserted the coalition. I think that Scott Morrison was unfairly maligned with the way some incidents were weaponised against him politically. But having said that, there's no doubt that his government gave off a blokey kind of an image. You can't be like that in the modern age. What are you going to do to make the coalition less blokey?
Get all of our women out on the field, so to speak. So I want our women to continue to excel from within the Liberal Party and, of course, the National Party. We have some terrific women in the Parliament, and of course they reflect the diversity of ideas. I always get a bit bemused when people talk about women as just one group and women think this and women think that. Of course they don't. They're as diverse as their life experiences and their life circumstances. So one thing we can do is showcase our women. Looking back to the last time I was in opposition, I remember thinking there are no real advantages because you're fighting like hell every single day to get back into government, and we will be. But you actually can come up with new ideas, and you can put all of your team members out, and they can all shine their light on whatever corners of whatever policy they would like to, whether that be women's policy or policy that is particularly interesting to them. So we've got a lot of work to do and a lot to show and a lot to reassure. I want to reassure the women that did support us at the last election that we're still the party that values what they do, which is the aspirations of everyday Australians and their families for a better future for themselves and their children. All
right, whoever won government was going to confront a pretty difficult set of economic circumstances. Wages going backwards, inflation increasing, economic headwinds overseas looking ominous. Let's have a look today at Tony Burke, the Employment Minister. He's spoken about the Labor government's official application, its official submission to the minimum wages case.
This is what it looks like when you have a government that's willing to fight for better wages. This is what it looks like when nearly 10 years of a government having low wages as a deliberate design feature comes to an end. The submission goes through the current economic circumstances. it makes clear that at the moment inflation's running at a 21-year high, referring specifically to the headline inflation rate of 5.1%.
Well, he doesn't say in absolute terms, but he's certainly suggesting the government wants minimum wages to be increased by at least 5.1% and further, even other low-wage earners to get that increase. Is that the responsible position to take, or should they leave it more clearly up to the Fair Work Commission?
Well, he's wading into the work of the Fair Work Commission, which considers the national and international economic factors and makes sensible, independent decisions accordingly. But just looking at that clip, I mean, I didn't feel reassured by Tony Burke and his manner, and I don't feel reassured by Jim Chalmers. I felt, I'm an insider, yes, but as an ordinary Australian, it was as if he was trying to panic us in some of his languages he's been using over the last couple of days, making us feel that they've come into government and they've been confronted with this crisis. Of course they haven't. They had access to all the books. They knew exactly what the numbers would be. It's a complex and volatile international situation. And if they can't deal with it, let's see. But we always, I believe, under Treasurer Josh Frydenberg, felt reassured. Yes, it was challenging. Yes, there were headwinds. Yep. We heard that word a lot.
Yep.
But we had the plan and we knew what we were doing. And that's not the feeling I'm getting from Tony Burke or Jim Chalmers.
Yeah, you're right. I think they're trying to trick us a bit. As you say, they had all the numbers. We have all that disclosure now before elections, so there's no surprises. Thanks so much for joining us, Sussan, and good luck in the new gig.
Thank you.
Sussan Ley there, who's the new Deputy Liberal Leader. It'll be interesting to find out exactly what her role will be when they dole out the shadow ministry in the coming days.